Hey guys, Dark Humility here with yet another Season 12 Suffering Closed Beta mini guide and demo. This was my favorite Amazon build I tested. This is the Cold Arrow Amazon. And you might ask, what's really changed for the Cold Arrow Amazon this season? Well, in one word, or two words I should say, Frozen Sorrow. This thing is crazy. Truly is. And of course, you'd be like, but it's bolts! So how are you supposed to use it with any cold bow worth its salt? Particularly an ice bow. Well, believe it or not, it's better than you would think. An ice crossbow. At any rate, we'll explain why. We'll show it off. The stats, the skills, the mercenary, the gear, and of course we'll be demoing it in some of her best maps as we typically do, maps with few to no immunities and high density to show you just how powerful this is. And yes, this build is really strong. Insanely high AoE, insanely high damage. I really can't go wrong. Heck, you could go freezing arrow with this as well, but it's a slightly different approach. At any rate, it's OP. It's super strong. I would say out of all the Amazon approaches, this is probably the coolest one. I prefer the Sorceress on Explosion Arrow. Believe it or not, I have a video out for that, and I'll have a video out for Venom Sin as well. I also think that approach is really sick, and definitely has even more potential with corruptions and things of that nature. So, at any rate, let's get it. Let's show you guys what she's made of. Remember to check out all my other guides and demos from Season 10 onwards on my YouTube. Really high quality stuff. And of course, remember Season 12 starts November 28th, 10 a.m. PT. So we'll see you guys then. And then also keep in mind, this is closed beta. Once again, this is a disclaimer. There are no corruptions, which means survivability is an issue. I might or will probably die, possibly. I'm showing you the limits of these testing here. I'm just showing you guys the damage. Of course, we could be a bit tankier, obviously, but I think it's more fun to show you guys just what they're capable of damage-wise, and just go for that. But obviously, you lose a little bit of damage. Overkill is fun, though. Let's see what we're capable of. Let's go. Now, we're not going to beat it. No. Not 24, man. No, 24 hours. No way. Anyway, stats. Enough strength to wear the gear. Enough dex to wear the gear. And they also added a bit for attack rating for some scenarios where the Merc might not keep up. Of course, the Merc also gets us enchants, so that's okay. Rest of the vitality for life. That's all you really kind of need to do. You need Cold Pierce. You need negative enemy cold resistance. You need % cold skill damage and plus skills. And of course, make sure you're hitting the attack speed breakpoint. The good news with a demon crossbow ice, only 20. Now it's not the best frame compared to a bow, but you could use infinity with it, and you could use the crazy bolts. That's really the key here. So, well, we did test a number of different crossbows, and we even tested it against the classic matriarchal bow approach. That one had some maps where it might have been a bit better, but overall, I think this one really showed just how powerful it is because of the amount of damage output you can do. Also, with the bolts, obviously you get 4 more arrows. That AoE cannot be ignored. Crazy cold pierce on these, crazy extra cold skills. It's really insane. Definitely made some bolts worth trying on. But yeah, FHR is decent. Mostly just coming from what is it? Dodge, but that's about it. all you kind of need for the most part. Res would also be good. If you had like the optimized stuff, like Chains of Honor could solve that. If you want to sacrifice some damage, you could solve it with corruptions. It's pretty easy. Mana and life for kill are really good. It's kind of a shame we don't have any LPK, life for kill, but that's a problem sometimes with testing with no corruptions. We have projectile pierce, 100%. That is very key. Now, the Amazon has it on herself, so she doesn't need as much on her gear. But we still have a few items here that are literally just exist for the Pierce. And that is it. Then, so we definitely, if we had those as corruptions, we could have even more absurd damage. But as you'll see, maybe not even really truly needed whatsoever. Alright, the max out, of course, Cold Arrow, and its synergies, Magic Arrow and Ice Arrow. Nothing into Javelin Tree, because we're not using a Javelin. And then, of course, you're going to want High Pierce, enough to get 100 combined with your gear. And then Max Evade for movement speed. Movement speed, you want to be as fast as possible. And then Dodge for the chance to dodge while you're fighting, which is very high. You could also get Valkyries if you want, as an additional thing, but if you get enough damage on this, even in tier 3s, you won't necessarily need it. Now, if you have a much slower bow, or if you just have a slow bow in general, you're going to need a lot more attack speed on your gear, or you're going to need fanaticism on your merc. And both of those things would mean major loss in pierce and damage. So, I personally think, based on the testing I've done with numbers and whatnot, it makes more sense to just go with Infinity on the Mercenary. He's got Blessed Aim to help me out with attack rating a bit, but you could use Defiance for DR and defense. Not a lot of scaling on defense on the Amazon though, so not crazy important. But he's got Cannot Be Frozen, damage reduction, life. Lava Gouts helps cast enchant on me. Innocence and Ferocity, which can keep the monsters off of me as well with the taunt on striking. Definitely the Rolls Royce approach, but obviously, the survivability is really good, and negative enemy res is really good. Of course, you could also use Pus Spitter early on too for negative lower resist, but once you get that Infinity, it's going to give you really crazy added damage here. Demon Crossbow Ice. Definitely need a crossbow with the bolts that we got here. But if you test like a classic approach versus this is winning out with the AoE, despite the firing being a bit slower. Doesn't really matter because you kill everything in one shot anyway. Particularly if you go crazy on the facets and the plus skills like I have done here. We got some Pierce items, but that's about it. I try to get some mana per kill because really suffering in the sustain department, and also suffering the fact that we need Pierce and we don't have corruptions. But honestly, you could get way more plus skills. We got faster run walk bow DCs. Running fast is everything you need to do on the Amazon. So res, faster run walk down there as well. And then of course a torch and an Annie. So there you go. And we are now going to showcase her power. Let's see what she's capable of. Yeah, otherwise you gotta run like Act 1 Mercenary with like Fanaticism for Faith. You could definitely do that if you have a slow weapon. But, I mean, you could see this thing is a cannon. You don't need more damage. These are cows just getting flattened, I mean. HP doesn't really get much higher than this. Don't matter. Except a cow map with the extra HP, I suppose, but... Look how ridiculously strong that is, though. Like, effortless flattenage. So if ice arrow you could use for bosses, which does a ton of damage. Sometimes it's not a one shot, but most of the time it's pretty close. Of course, you can still go full Malvina's set for budget on this, so that's a good thing. Yeah, the 12 arrows makes it incredibly crazy. Yeah, this thing got some pretty insane numbers in here. Absolutely. But it's not just in cows. Keep in mind, this build has pretty low survivability, so imagine getting a lot more. You can imagine it, right? You can imagine it. Gotta get those keys. Where are those keys at? You basically just hug the monsters, though. Man, the re-sync sometimes puts me in the most awkward spot. There's a D key and a T key. And of course, Cold Arrow is one of the best starters too. Crush normal cows really easily. It's really solid stuff. Yeah, this is with the new quiver. Cold Arrow goes super hard with the new quiver. Really does. Now, I wouldn't say it's insanely better than the standard setup, you know, the old matriarchal bow or stag bow, ice plus good arrows at 2 plus, you know, 20 ice and all that stuff, but in general, it seems to be doing the trick. That is a sick change in Season 12. 0 resistance horizon maps. How could you not run that map now? See, the density of a map like Canyon of Citron really accentuates the power of this build. Yeah, she is cold as ice, man. Broken. Monsters cannot face her. I'll fear her. Normally that map is really rough too because of all that stun, but you just stand right in front of them. Maybe not right on top of them, but that's okay. Start blasting them. So out of all the cool bow builds, all the arrows, and of course all the bolts this season, this is definitely my favorite of the Amazon bow builds. This was really cool. it's mostly just because the bolts just give really good stats for it. So you could really make it shine, even though crossbows shoot a bit slower. This is just way faster, way more consistent. Just run through the maps and blast them. No problem. Super tanky Amazon. So, but yeah. Of course, so remember you can check out the rest of my Season 10 and beyond mini guides and demos, including this Season 12 one. As you can see, this quintessential Season 12 approach with the Frozen Sorrow. Don't miss out on that. Really strong cold build. Really insane. Shred at every point in the game when you have weaker gear. It doesn't matter. Go get it. The Queen of Freeze is back. Stronger than ever. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, see you guys November 28th, 10 a.m. PT for the start of Season 12. Suffering. Suffering, though, isn't for us. It's for the monsters. Let's get it. Dark Humility over and out.